All right, like we usually start. Everything starts with the feet. You put your feet in the right spot. You soften your hips and knees, lowering your center of gravity. And then we're going to just start up here with the arms. So your hands are like as if you dipped them in, some cold water, something dipping your hands in. And then the hands raise up, your elbows drop, and then it's opening up like a flower, like blossoming. Your arms come out to the sides and you stretch your chest. Then we come back. So it's just going to keep repeating, but there's more details. So you dip your chin, you do a little shift side to side. You might feel parts of your back stretch a little bit and loosen up. So then I come up to here again. This will be the inhale. Every time we open up, I bring my arms somewhat further back. When I come forward and I dip my chin, that's our exhale, as we're squishing our diaphragm. We'll do a 4 count. So now we're on the third one, we're going even further back. Stretching the back, the neck, the shoulders, whatever's tight. When we come back to here, we dip the chin, exhale, and round the back. So our fourth one, you decide, you got your lower body kind of anchored here, center of gravity is low. Feel how far you can stretch back with your hands as high as your eyes, and then we come back. So you're doing a stretch that's comfortable. It shouldn't be painful. So we start the whole sequence again. So you got first one, inhale, chin slightly up, opening up your airway. Exhale. So the back is rounded. Now the back is arched. So you go a little further. Come on in and breathe out. So the hands stay totally relaxed and loose. Inhale. Go a little further. Exhale. Fourth one, I'll give you the side view. So if 1 was here for me, 2 is a little further, 3, 4. Whatever that is for you to feel comfortable but still, stretching, opening up the lungs more. So let's do it again. So whenever your hands come up and out like this, your muscles of your chest and your shoulders are engaged, really it's making you breathe deeper. It's hard to breathe shallow from your lungs, or your chest rather, when your arms are in this position. So a little farther, that's 2. And breathe out. 3. A little further. Out. 4. Farther yet. And breathe out. All right, so that's the first set. So we're kind of like in a light horse position, if you will. So the next one we're going to do actually is going to be a little bit more of a deeper horse stance. And then we'll go into the bow stance. So now, you're a little bit more set. Same idea. Hands in front, round your spine. Inhale. Exhale. So if your knees are, in discomfort or some other part of your body, make the adjustment on your own. 2, inhale. Exhale. Hands totally loose, shoulders relaxed. 3, inhale. Exhale. 4, as far back as you can go comfortably. Exhale. All right, so that's our horse stance. Then we go to here. And you can do the same thing with the bow stance. You can be almost standing up, or you can anchor yourself and go a little, wider. The wider you go from front to back, you're going to probably feel a little bit more in your hips, and your thighs, hamstrings. Round your back, same sequence. Inhale. Exhale. 2. A little farther, inhale. Exhale. Everything's smooth, no jerky or quick movements. Inhale. Exhale. 4. Inhale. Exhale. So then you can shift your weight to the back leg so this front foot can turn. And just like if we were going to do some of the steps from Tai Chi, go to empty stance, go to bow stance. Now we're on the other side. So we'll do one more set and then we'll move on. So number 1, nice and easy. Inhale, exhale. Number 2, further, inhale, exhale. 3, in, out. 4, last one, as far back as you can go comfortably. Stretch, stretch. And breathe out and relax. Okay, finish it up. You bring your feet closer. We do our splash, flick, stretch the neck up, and then chin down. Deep breath in, down and out, straight up. Straight down as you breathe out. Lock your knees and elbows momentarily. Bend your knees and elbows. All right, so there's a couple other variations with that, but this is the main part here, that you're trying to actively engage in increasing your breathing capacity. You can try and do it from here. Sometimes you run across somebody, a doctor, a therapist, personal trainer, and they say, breathe deep, and you're like, I am breathing deep. These type of techniques, they teach you and they show you how to breathe deeper. All right, so our next set is a progression. Each time we add on a little bit more. So again, my feet are about shoulder width, maybe a shoulder width and a half. Bring your arms in front to make 2 arches, kind of like the McDonald's arches, right? When you get your hands in front of your face, start to dip your chin, round your shoulders, and then each vertebrae one at a time until you get to your lowest point, whatever that may be. If you can't touch the ground, don't worry about it. Shift your hips from side to side a few times. Stop shifting, bend the knees, stack the vertebrae from the lowest to the highest. And then level your head so you're looking straight again. Okay, so that's the first part. When you're bending, if anybody starts to feel a little lightheaded or whatever, don't go that far. Usually if you have high blood pressure issues, if your head goes below your heart, there is a risk that you can get lightheaded. So if that's the case, don't worry about it, just don't go so far. But if you can go further, each time you might notice your spine stretching, your hamstrings loosening up. So now I'm down here. If I'm looking at my hands, it means there's tension on my neck. So tilt the head and look at your kneecaps. All right, time to come back up. Pinch your fingers, bend the knees, stack the vertebrae. You get to the top, release the hands. All right, so that's the next part, with the arms coming out and up. So back to the first part. Each time we'll add on. Inhale, as you're folding, your lungs are squishing with your diaphragm squishing. Let the breath out. Look at your kneecaps. Shift a few times. Pinch the fingers, raise the arms. That might put some extra tension on your back, so be careful. Straighten up. Let the hands open, relax your shoulders. All right, so we're gonna add on. The next thing is to spin the big ball. Spin the wheel. Squish it. Your left hand does kind of like part the horse's mane. Your right hand does brush knee. And then we come back and start the whole thing again. Next time we'll go to the right. Inhale. Exhale as you fold. If you take a few breaths at the bottom, that's fine. It's very shallow because the way your body's folded in half. Raise your arms, stack the vertebrae, release the tension. So now we got to go to the right. Spin, squish, your back is rounded. Your back can arch for a moment, and then relax the spine so it's neither arched nor rounded. So now the next part. This hand comes to the hip, the hand that's out comes across. And we're now in bow stance with the one knee bent. All right, so that's the next part. Inhale. Exhale. So some of you that are able to go down, you might have just gained, 2, 3, 4 inches or so as everything loosens up. Maybe not if some of you are real tight. Inhale. Exhale. Spin, squish, open, sink, hand to your hip, bow stance, twist across in front of your right shoulder. If this is all fine, this hand drapes down. Drag it along the ground. And then over the top, your eyes kind of follow the hand until you get to here. And then you lean. Let the arms and gravity help to stretch. Look forward. Look down with your chin dropping. And then try to look up. You're going to maybe feel one of those is not as comfortable as the other ones. So now my feet are definitely wider than we started. So that gives us a little more stability, but it also makes the distance to the floor a little closer. So you might fool yourself like, oh, I'm reaching further. Farther out your feet go, closer the ground becomes. Time to come back up. Inhale. Exhale. Spin. Squish. Part the horse's mane. Brush knee, same time. Relax your shoulders and hips. Hand to your side. Pivot. Twist across. So now if just the arm is good, just moving the arm, let your head, again, follow your arm. Your eyes look at the hand until you get to about here, and then you look straight. So relax your head. Try to let the ear touch your shoulder. Chin to your shoulder. Chin straight up. All right? So you're going to notice, again, whatever's tight, whatever's not as comfortable, you're going to notice it. So if it's too much, back off, delete it. If you can keep going, we got a couple more things to add on here. So all the way down, look at your kneecaps. So gravity's helping stretch parts of your back. Raise the arms. Let the tension go. So aside from this being a good exercise, it's really like 5 or 6 exercises, it's really good to kind of keep your attention. It's like, pay attention, like, oh, what's next? What's next? So that's what's next. This is all the same, just doing the other side. Look forward, look down, look up. Take your leg and we go back now into bow stance. And then we do the same thing. Lean to the side, look down, look up. All right, back to the start. So I got to keep track which side we were on because don't want to do that whole thing too many times on the one side, right? So inhale. Exhale. Head relaxes. Inhale. Exhale. In. Out. So I can take the breath when I'm most open and breathe out. This is totally loose, your arm and shoulder. Now I draw my right leg back. Try to keep your shoulders, if you can, over your waist. Not here and leaning to the side, shoulders over the waist, and then lean to the side. So again, looking forward, looking down, looking up. All right, so we got one more thing to add on. We'll do that the next time around. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So which side do we go? We got to go this way, left. Squish, in, out. I wait until about here to breathe in, out. You don't necessarily need to take a breath for each of the head stretches, but if you want, you can. We go back, bow stance, lean to the side, look up. So the last one we'll do is either stepping back so your legs start to cross, or definitely crossed, or where you're almost like on the same line, whichever one you feel comfortable. We're not gonna do, each one. You pick one that you can do comfortably. If it's this, you stay here. If you can do this, this, this. So I got my heel up. Stretching the side like a pretzel, ear to the shoulder, relax your right arm, look down at your fingers. And the most challenging one, try to look up at your hand. Okay, we got one more time on the other side and then we'll be done with this. Inhale. Exhale. Look toward your knees. Inhale, raise the arms. Exhale. Spin to the right. In. Out. In. Out. So this would be probably the easiest one if you're having balance issues. This is the next more challenging one. I'm just giving you a general. And then this one, any of this stuff is the more challenging as you're twisted. So look forward, look down, look up. All right, time to finish. Splash again, flick. Breathe in at the top, out at the bottom. In, out, straight up, in, out. So I don't know if any of you felt it or noticed it, but when you were doing this stuff right here, your feet, or maybe even with this one, you might have felt your feet kind of shifting, your toes, and trying to get a little more stability and structure as you're doing it. That's good. Your body's challenged with it. Anytime you start playing with your head, looking different directions, that's going to mess with your balance and your equilibrium. So it's a good thing because it gets better as you do it. Hopefully. That's the theory. Okay, so now we got another set where we move to the right a little bit. This is kind of like a short set of the Yang Tai Chi steps, a little short step, or a short set rather. So we open, we close. As you sink down, your foot's going to hover. We've been doing a lot of this lately. And then set it down ever so slowly. Your arms continue to circle up. Thumbs up, fingers down. Stretch your shoulders in your underarm area. And then the hands drop. Now it's the same exercise we just did, going down one vertebrae at a time. Shift back and forth. Come back up with the arms just in front. So now I kind of get this hip thing going where I shift. So I shift right and then left, turn the hip, and here's our part the horse's mane with an empty stance. Bottom hand is doing ward off. Step with your heel and just reach a little bit forward. So your spine and your shoulders just reach a little bit. So again, that's part the horse's mane, ward off. Take your right foot, step over. If bow stance is wonderful, you can do that. Try twisted stance like we just did. Arms scoop, let the fingers and wrists twist, and then push. Look to the right, hand comes in, look to the left. So a lot of neck stretching happening here too. This left arm scoops, and keep your wrist and elbow bent. Try and extend your right leg, or your back leg rather, your left, and reach for the windows. Back foot comes in front, and here's our press, just our simple press from Tai Chi. And that's it. So it's about 5 exercises, linking together with some extra bending happening. So we again open, close. Now the right foot hovers. Set it down ever so slowly and lightly. Inhale, stretch up. Exhale, let the tension in your neck and shoulders dissipate. Inhale. Exhale as you fold. Shift a few times, feel the stretch. Stack the vertebrae. So here's the first shift. I go to here. I get the wave moving, and then I scoop up the sand. Step with the heel. So I'm kind of on the back with my weight here. I just reach a little bit forward, put the weight on the front leg. Either step across or twist. So now you can reach or bend and reach. Again, some of your balance is going to be challenged. Stretch left, Sink down, look right. Hand to your hip. So same thing, either you can just wave with your arm or your head can follow your arm. And then here, extend the back leg, extend the arm. Should almost feel like you're gonna fall. Shift back, empty stance, bow stance, push. All right, yes, I'm beating this to death. We're doing a lot of the details. So if you found that you were running out of space, you gotta move over more. We got a couple more times, then it'll be break time. Inhale, exhale. Splash, inhale. Relax the arms, shoulder, neck, exhale. Inhale at the top, exhale as you fold. Shift a few times. Straighten back up. So right about here, I can shift to the right, and I get this going. That's the wave. Feet, waist, arms. Ward off. Scoop up. Park the horse's mane. So if bow stance is fine, twisted stance is fine, try to lift. And then you can either step down in bow stance or twisted stance. Reach for the ground. Inhale. Stretch. Sink. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale as you bend your torso. Squish the diaphragm. Inhale. Exhale. Make sure your toes, knees, and hip point to the corner. Empty stance to the corner. Extra credit, balance. Toes, heel, push and press. So we got about one more of these going back, and then that'll be it for this. In, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out, in, out. Toes and knees to the corner. Balance if you'd like. In, out. Finish it up. Same like we always do. Splash, flick, bring the blood and the oxygen up. Settle down. And breathe in. And breathe out. Each breath slower, deeper, straight up. Straight down. Lock knees and elbows for just a moment. Bend your knees and elbows. So we've been doing this compact, the Tai Chi Yang Style 24 compact. Even when we have the big space, I've been doing a bit more of the compact one because it kind of makes sense. If any of you folks want to do it on your own, it's a little more intuitive to do. You know, I can do it at home, I can do it in the garage, I can do it on the patio, and you don't feel like, oh, I got to have a certain amount of space. So, you know, maybe I'll do it a couple more times where we do the longer one, but the compact one is really good for what we're doing. You do lose a little bit of the balance because you're not lifting your foot every time to step with some of those, but you might make up for it with being just more in tune where your center of gravity is at. So there's always going to be plus and minus depending upon whatever we do. So the basics, 5 directions. Feet shoulder width, maybe a little wider if you need to. First one is up / forward. You know, they're the same, up and forward. Down and back, they're a set. Then we start to spin like we did earlier. Spin the ball, and then push your feet to shift your hips. The spine twists gently. Arms and hands come out to do Park the horse's mane. Going the other way, push your left foot, the ball of your foot, to get the momentum moving. Same exact thing on the right side. Then we pull back into the center, like we're rolling the ball down our front side. So each one has a correspondence to a element, 5 elements. You have metal, which is poking or piercing. Wood, pulling, tension. This flow, feet, waist, arms, is water. Complete opposite would be fire. and then earth. More stable, grounding, steady. So this will be inhale, let your hands float with your arms. Exhale, let your arms sink. Spin, shift, in, out as you reach. Your hands about level with your nose again. So I give these references, like here, your nose and your navel, and then they switch. Your other hand ends up by your navel, your other hand ends up by your nose. And then we're about shoulder height, and then about navel height. All right, 5 directions. From there, I do this little shift so that this hip is light and it can pivot. Now I'm in empty stance, like we just did a whole bunch of empty stance. Nose and navel. Step with your heel. So I'm about 2 tiles apart, about as wide as my shoulders maybe. We have ward off. I do a little flick, like I'm splashing water at somebody. I start with the feet, the hips. The arms come along at the end. So now I do a little twist of my spine, like a spring wound up. On the way back, it's shoulder, elbow, wrist. Little splash again. Pull. Push. To get to the other side, we're facing the right side, so my cue is to get the right foot and the right hand moving like a set. I can only go so far, so then this foot moves. And then I cheat a little bit to get my feet on the corner. I go all the way to here. Then I go all the way back. So it's really, twisting the spine a bit. Pinch, the hands split. Now I got bow stance again. So again, like if you can, you'll have more stability if you're about 2 tiles apart. Pull back to here to start. Ward off. Back of your wrist, like you're hitting with the hard part of your hand. Roll back. Bump with your shoulder, poke with the elbow, squeeze or press the wrists. Flick and pull. Push. So now we're on the left side. So my cue here is to turn the left as far as I can. Left foot, left hand. And then adjust if you need to get on the corner. So I twist it to the right, like a spring. I unwind, but I end up twisting to the left. Dip your elbow, palm up, pinch, look at your palm. The very last part, at the very end, your hand turns out. So again, we're gonna pull in the breath, push the breath out. Pull the breath in, push the breath out. Pull the breath in, push the breath out. All the way to here. Then all the way back. Breathe in. All that can be a breath in and breathe out. So this is, again, teaching us how to breathe deeper. Instead of just standing here, breathe deep. All of these arm positions open our lungs, or, the diaphragm, squish the diaphragm. Pull in the breath, push the breath. Shoulders relax, push. Turn to the right, twist to the right, twist to the left, split to the right. All right, so that's the names. You got 8 names, but a couple of them repeated when I do it this way. So we have heaven, philosophically speaking, is expanding out, a little bit up. Earth, grounding. Mountain is the shoulder, canyon, water, they flow as a set. Wood, pull that tree branch back and let it go. Metal/fire for that one. This whole thing with the split, back and forth, we're all over the place, so that's thunder. Thunder is never in a straight line, it's all over the place. So let's do one more. In, out, expand. In, out, ground. In, out, flow. In, push and pull, out. In, out. In, out. Finish it up. Just like we do, you just kind of finish it. You have a little thing there to designate that we're done with it. And you get a whole lot of neck, stretching in there. All right, so now we do the compact. Starts out almost the same as what we've already done. We got the opening, closing. We have park the horse's mane, just like we did with the 5 directions. We do it 3 times. There's the second one, third one. All right, feet turn. There's our empty stance. Wind up, just like we've been doing. We have 1 park the horse's mane. Back to horse stance. Someone throws a big beach ball from the kitchen over here, the corner. You catch it. And then your elbow drops, your other hand does brush knee. Then you push, so your hand ends up in front of your face, and you sink. So we got 3 of those, brush knee. So catch the ball on the corner, drop the ball. By the time you finish brush knee and push, your hips sink down a little bit more. So we got 3 of those. Inhale. And exhale. All right? Some things we do 3 times or 4 times, whatever. Sometimes we only do something once. We have 1, strum the guitar. Extra credit is all this balance, toes, heel. All right? Toes in, toes out, shift. So most of the weight, like 60%, on your back leg. Lift the ceiling as you look. Keep your elbows somewhat down. Push and pull, we have repulse monkey. Toes in, that's called ba. Toes parallel, bagua. Shift the weight, most on the back leg, that's santi. Push and pull, whole thing collectively is repulse monkey. Toes in, toes out, shift. Open and inhale. Close and exhale. 1 more for 4. Ba, bagua, santi. Twisting the spine back and forth. All right, now we do our 8. We have, just like we did a few minutes ago, ward off, roll back, shoulder, elbow, press. Press and squeeze, that's another name for press, is squeeze. Pull, push. So we got to get to the other side. The split is this right here. Your arms splitting and getting wide. And now we do the same. Ward off, roll back, shoulder, elbow, press, pull, straighten your foot if you need to, push. So now we do the same idea. The right side, twist to the left, back to the right, dip the elbow, split. So now our split's in horse stance. So we'll now do wave arms like clouds. Left, and then right. That's 1 set. We do 3 sets. Inhale. Exhale. Feet, waist, arms. Exhale. We finish it with a split. So there's 2 splits. 1 at the beginning, 1 at the end of wave arms like clouds. So now I got to get my feet on the corner here. So I move my right foot back, and then I just point the toes towards the corner. I reach for the back corner, brush knee, pat the high horse. So if you were doing it, maybe, real horse, you'd have your hand straight this way. For our purposes, bend the wrist a little bit, sideways towards your thumb. Makes the wrist get a little exercise. So now we scoop up. Now we're on the kitchen side here with our toes again. Arms blossom towards each corner. If you're solid and stable, try to balance. If you can balance, try to reach your toes. If you can reach your toes, pull your toes. If you can do that, reach for your foot. Set the foot down. Bow stance. Scrub your sides, make some friction. Double punch. Relax your shoulders. Same on the left side. Toes on the left corner. Arms open and blossom towards the corners. If you're sunk, you're solid, try to balance. Try to reach. Pull back. Reach for your foot. Set it down softly. Okay, so we're still pretty much where we started. We're staying pretty good here. Right arm is stationary. Left arm is free to move. Just like a snake, and then it pops up. We have rooster on one leg. If your balance isn't good, this is your one leg. Balance is better, we do this. So my left hand is the crane, my right hand is the snake. Snake and crane. That is the whole philosophy behind the whole Tai Chi system. Rooster on one leg. So now we have the shuttles. I printed off a picture of what a shuttle is if you guys want to look at the way out. The thing that you would weave with if you were making your own clothes, which I know everybody does, weave your own clothes, right? So you're kind of weaving, right? And then you push. So again, we're still almost where we started. Reach up, brush knee down, arch your back and lean forward. Needle at the bottom of the C. Scoop up. Open the fan, split, reach, relax your shoulders, sink your hips. Turn. So again, like someone's throwing a beach ball at you, you catch it. But then you split, and then you make fists, and they split and split again. Toes up, fist up. Block, block again, punch. Your hand does a little wrap or coil behind your elbow as you shift your weight back. Like a slingshot, you let the slingshot go. Turn to the corner, step to the corner, square up, scoop up, open. As you inhale, close, exhale, and then the whole thing starts again. Up, down, shift to the right, shift to the left, part the horse's mane. Push with the ball of your foot. Shift to the right. Push with the ball of your foot. Shift to the left. All right. So let's do it a little slower. And if you can breathe slower, wonderful. I won't give you the pace or the cadence for the breathing, but we will do the movements slower. Brush knee 3 times. Breathing whenever. Usually in when you're most open, out as you squish and close. And brush knee. Brush knee. Next is strum the guitar. So not only do we try to do the arm movements slow, try to make the lower body leg movements slow too. So like instead of just doing this and then, okay, I gotta do the arms slow. From here it's gonna be slowly turn in, slowly turn out, slowly shift back, do the arm movements. If you can, that's what we're trying to do next. Slowly in, out, back. I know that's for me. Somebody wants to know about classes, they'll have to wait. So again, slow, slow. And some of you are gonna find doing it slow is physically harder. Some of you might find it mentally harder. Oh, it's going so slow. So that's our 4th repulse monkey. So even here, slowly draw the foot in, slowly place it back out. Arms follow. Slowly shift, slowly shift. So all of that is our 8 arm movements, 8 energies. Collectively, we call it grasp the sparrow's tail when we do it together in the set. Shift slowly, slowly back and forth. So you try to get the feet and the legs moving as slow as the upper body. We got split. Wave arms like clouds. Each time, left and right is a set for a total of 3. One more. 3. Okay, so then we finish it with another split. Last part, the hand turns. Slowly get into empty stance. Pat the high horse. Slowly get into empty stance. Slowly lift, reach, down. Scrub, punch. Slowly blossom. Slowly the snake creeps. Slowly the rooster stands on one leg. Snake creeps again. Rooster on one leg. Slowly into working the shuttles. Work the shuttles left. Slowly needle at the bottom of the C. Slowly open the fan. Block. Parry, another name for block. Punch. Apparent closing. Opening. Closing. Opening. Closing. Everybody doing good? Any questions, comments? Like, I hate doing it slow. I like doing it slow. Always going to be, everybody has their different, opinion or preference. So we're going to do it one more time through. This will take us to the end, and I'll give you a cadence if you want to breathe slower. If you feel like, oh, I'm doing good, Jim, I'll breathe when I need to. Do what you feel is, most comfortable for you, so no lightheadedness or anything. So inhale. Exhale. Usually it's when I'm most open to breathe in. When I'm squished or bent or twisted is breathe out. And breathe in. Breathe out. There's usually a pause after each part. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. 3 times. In. Out. Strum the guitar once. In. Out. Repulse monkey 4 times. In. Out. In. Out. In. Elbows down. Sink onto that back hip. In. Out. Grasp the sparrow's tail. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. Out. In. out, in, out. 3 sets, in, out, split, in, out. Pat the high horse, in, out. Heel kicks, in, out. Double punch, in, out. Heel kick, in, toes, heel, out, in, 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 out. All right, that's it. Hopefully everybody feels great and wonderful because we're doing slower, but everybody's got to find their preference if you need to. So be well, be safe. See you in a couple days.